Most of the time I'm imagining a world that is graphically literal in my head. I can before it becomes a sound to me, I have to have an image of it. I have to have a very specific landscape or design to that. I have to know what the dimensions are, and you ask yourself the question, how far is the door away? How far is the window from where I'm standing, and what's the point of view? And the guy was going, whoa, The sound itself is spectacular.
I am Dracula.
In the categorizing of sounds, you can have sound effects, and what I mean here is in terms of practical sound effects, sounds that exist in nature, or when you make them they ascribe to a certain definition. If it's the sound of feet walking or a door shutting, there are certain characteristics to that sound, but for the most part it's a sound that represents itself. On the other end of the sound spectrum, you have music, which is absolute. It carries no particular, it doesn't necessarily have to carry any particular reference to anything real, and it carries with it all sorts of sonorities and timbres and to a large extent emotion and atmosphere, I guess. In the physical landscape of that signal, of that sound, that image that you're creating, you've got a foreground, like on a stage, and a background. And then I dare to make one more here, which is, we'll call it, emotion or drama, where we've got at one end we've got tension and release. So it's interesting to do when you're creating a design, whether it's in your head or for a script, is to start to place that particular signal or that particular sound on this graph and move it around.
Actually, it's done for the CD-ROM, which we produced last year. The music is produced here in Helsinki, done in M1, but the final production was done in Jim's studio in Earwax, so that the music was mixed. It was already mixed when we went there. But then with Jim, we mixed the final using sounds which were left over from Dracula.
All it is change. It's not that it's louder, it's that it's different. And the body is designed to recognize change more than the same thing. So that would be an interesting study to do, a commercial that was quieter than the program. You have something that starts the sound out initially to call the attention of the viewer, and then to run the whole thing at such a level that it just makes you go, what? It's such a cheap trick what they do, though. They first of all, they're compressing everything, so they go through and not just the whole program, but they compress every element of the program before they mix it together. And they've got software packages now, digital processing that'll go in, and we do with the Sega commercials, is every sample that's in the mix is actually run through this, it's called L1, and it's this smart digital limiter compressor. So every sound dynamically looks like a brick. It's just 100%. And you mix them all together, and the needles go up to 0, and they're there the whole time. They don't move. And then the real cheap part of it is then when they print it, they take the tones at the beginning and they pull them back 3 dB, so that when the operator sets it up at the station, they bring the level to 0, and then the program.
People that are into like Prince and all that are like basically having sex on the dance floor, you know? You can get pregnant and have an abortion, which hurts just as much as getting slammed in the eye by somebody's head, you know what I mean? What's the difference? I mean, seriously.
Good to see you. It's time to learn a lesson in violence.
Once the sound is actually placed within the context of the machine and sequenced, the staging and mixing are much more sculptural.